何事?
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
Today's podcast we're covering the anime Urusei Yatsura.
Now, this hilarious RomCom anime is a root of the original 1980s Yatsura anime, and it follows a dumbass high schooler Ataru, whom, after quickly saving the world from an alien invasion called the Oni, he ends up marrying the
Quote,
leader's
unquote.
daughter, who won't leave him alone. Darling!
Go away! Before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bells on future podcasts and want to pause videos.
Yes, and thank you so much for your support, for joining us and sharing our videos. We appreciate you so much. We had never heard of this. We saw someone post a comment about it on Twitter or X, and we weren't even familiar with what it was.
Right.
And then we started to see more and more about Yatsura, the original.
Right.
And then we said, we ought to check it out. And then we didn't give any more thought. Then
it came up on Anime Network about sometime in 2023, and we decided to add it. It was also in English dub, so we added, and for the longest time it sat in our list. And finally when they said, okay, we've had this in here a while, let's go ahead and watch it. Didn't even know it was Rumiko Takahashi that did it. Didn't even know it going in. And that's when we were seeing all these Inuyasha shout outs and side references. And after one episode, one of the most bonkers anime ever made.
yes. So this is a 2022 version. The original ran for 4 seasons, and it ran from 1981 to 1986, and is based on the manga series of the same name by Rumiko Takahashi. And that one was co-produced by Perot until episode 106, and then went to Studio Dean. The original ran 194 episodes, and it had 213 segments, kind of like Star versus the Forces of Evil.
Right.
And it was really, really popular. It got written about in so many magazines, saying it was a pioneering work in the genre of magical girlfriend.
Yes. It definitely stands out.
So I can see why they did a reboot of it. Is that what it would be, I guess?
I guess so, yeah.
And this one is adapted by Kitty Films and premiered on Fuji TV in Japan in October of 2022. And they released it in 2 cores. First half, I think, was 23, and then the second half was the same.
Right.
And as before, they're in segments. You get 2 segments in each episode.
Right.
But this thing is one of the funniest things I have absolutely ever seen in my entire life. All the characters are bonkers. There's not one character that has any sense in this show.
No.
But I'm going to say it again. Ataru is the biggest dumbass of them all.
Right.
And Lum is a lunatic from outer space, and then her dad comes and he's a lunatic, and her betrothed comes and he's a lunatic, and her friends come and they're all lunatics, and so it's just nothing but lunatics.
Yeah.
Earthling or human lunatics and alien lunatics.
Yep, the whole cast surprise of lunatics. And it's hilarious is that, you know, there really isn't, after like maybe the first few episodes, there is no story in terms of a big plot. It's just all these happenings happen, and you're just here to experience them. After he saves the Earth, and somehow by a fluke, really, because the other dude is touch her horns and that calls off the invasion. That's the whole game, and it took him a whole week to do, because clearly it wasn't as easy as it sounded. And no one believed he could do it. They only cheered him on because they didn't want to die. And then he finally did it, and then after 2 days they were over it.
Now, we want to warn you, if you've never seen this, and if you've watched Inuyasha or Yashahime Half Demon Princess, this has a lot of fan service. And they absolutely have one episode that is nothing. The final episode for season 1 is nothing but fan service. The entire episode is nothing but fan service. So if that's something you don't care for in an anime, you shouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
It is hilarious though, and it's not to the point where, oh my gosh, there's so much of this, I can't stand the story. It's just littered within the episodes until that final episode. And then she took all her gloves off and she just threw all of it into that episode.
So everyone
and
who's
it's
into
things
that will
that are
like
unbelievable. They actually allowed to air on TV in that final episode.
Right, and it wasn't censored, edited out. Then that last episode was just that person just being more insane. Like the point it was like, what's happening? All these characters showing up, they're just yelling and stuff. It's like, am I taking crazy pills? What's happening?
Ataru has no morals. His parents know he has no morals. They actually want him to go away.
Yeah.
He's in high school and they want him to go away.
Pretty quickly.
And they pretty much tell him he's useless, he's hopeless, I'm not
kidding.
He's
a loser.
Yes.
He's ugly.
And at first, when it happens, you're like, oh, why are you saying this about him? There's nothing wrong with him.
Yes,
and then the more you watch the episodes, you're like, yeah. Unfortunately, everything they're saying about him is freaking true.
Yeah.
He's got issues. He's got problems. He has no morals. He doesn't care as long as he gets a girl.
Yeah, he hits on every girl that looks pretty to him. Oh my god.
So it was a surprise when they said that he should marry her and he didn't want to do it. You were kind of confused, like, yeah, but
you got an alien girl. I mean, you've got the best of all, really.
And everybody wants her, and he gets her, but he wants everyone else.
It's like, what the hell is this?
So again, he's really just dumb. In every episode, almost, he's chasing some other girl.
Right. I think only one didn't have it happen, and it was about halfway through. And it was a point where Lum was trying to tell him she had to go somewhere. She's gonna be gone. But you didn't get all the information because he didn't let her finish. He was like, just shut up, go, and all that. So she kind of leaves in the middle of the night and she goes back to her ship. And the next day she's gone. And he's wondering, she's not here. And a lot of people know, like, Lum's not here. She's not here. Maybe she's ahead of school and they don't see her there. Whole day passes, they don't see her. And like, okay, maybe she went somewhere. Next day, she's still not there. Then he starts worrying. It's like, okay, she's finally gone, but now he's actually a little upset. And to a point where he wasn't even hitting on girls anymore. And when he was passing by a whole group of them, he said, oh, hi, girls. And they were like, something's got to be wrong with him. He didn't hit on any of us.
And you were surprised, the viewers as well. You were like, what?
Yeah, and then they were like, oh, what'd you do to her? Oh, you must have done something. What's this? Like, no, she's just gone. And
she'll be
a lot of people, and days keep passing. She's still not back. To the point where he thinks one of the students did something. He starts getting pissed and he said, what could we possibly do to her?
and he actually gets depressed.
Yeah, it's crying. And there was a whole manhunt looking for her across the city, across Japan, and she's just filling out some papers that took her days to do. That's all she did. And Ataru was actually crying by the end, like, all this crap you talking, this is how you really feel.
So Ataru is the male main character, and Lum, the female alien, is the female protagonist in here. And Lum cares nothing but about getting him.
Really that.
And you were surprised because again, he's like the one nobody wants.
Right.
And she keeps going,
it's like Azumi.
All throughout the entire series, and I see when they got it for Vox Machina. Darling!
Yes, that's your darling!
And she chases him. She doesn't want him looking at anyone. She doesn't want him being with anyone else.
Right.
She doesn't want anyone to do anything to him except her.
Right.
She hits him with lightning bolts, electrocutes him.
Right. It's like, how is he alive? Yeah.
She does everything to him, but it's okay as long as she does it.
Right.
And the funny part is that she actually, you find out later on, is betrothed to a guy who, I think his name is, what's his name?
Okay, well, he's from her, because he's from her planet. It's got the same tiger print outfit on. That looks like they're in their pajamas for some reason.
No, Ray.
Ray.
R-E-I. He's her ex-fiancé, she says. And she's still betrothed. She's like, no, I told you, it's over. I don't want you. And when you see him, he's really handsome. All the people on the planet wear
tiger print
yes.
stuff.
And when he eats like a pig. He eats
He's
everything
fat,
and anything.
Fat.
He's not fat. He's so handsome.
Yeah.
Every girl wants him. Even Ataru's mom wants to run away with him.
I was like, oh, God.
And then he eats food. And he eats food and eats food and eats food. And he still doesn't get fat. But piss him off and he gets angry and he turns into this hideous giant
fat
tiger.
Yes, I was talking about this fat tiger.
And they're like, Mom, we don't understand. Why don't you want him? He's perfect. And then he gets angry. She says, that's why.
And they're like, oh, you missing out. They still wanted him even when he turned into a fat tiger and all he thinks about is food. They don't get, oh, I can look past him like, okay, you can have him.
And she keeps telling him,
like, go ahead, keep him. It's like, you stupid man. He's probably my least favorite character in here because these people want him even though he's an idiot and he eats like a pig and he gets angry and like, oh, he looks hot. I still want like you.
No. Then we get to Ren, who we have to mention because Ren wants him after she says she doesn't. Now Ren looks exactly like Mitsuri. If you've watched
Yes.
Slayer, it's her. So we know where that inspiration came from. She looks exactly like Mitsuri. The hair color, the hairstyle, the body.
Yes.
She even talks and sounds like her
When she's
until
not
she
angry.
gets angry.
Right. And then she's like, oh boy, whole nother person.
And so she's childhood friends. She was childhood friends with Lum. And Lum pissed her off because Lum would do stupid crap to her and not apologize. At first you think Ren is she's overreacting and she's just being a witch.
Right.
And then later you start seeing flashbacks and they're like, you did do crap to her.
Yeah.
You got her in trouble. You lied on her.
Yeah. I didn't even realize how much stuff I did to you. In one episode, she's like, oh, she felt very bad after that.
And then she finally apologized.
Yeah.
But it's just bonkers, crazy, out there. So there are two things that really stick out about the characters themselves. One, every time you're watching, well, let's put it this way. When you first start watching it, you can pick out every character that Inuyasha was based on.
Mm-hmm.
You have Lum, and she's Kagome.
Yes.
And you have
Ataru, who's just Moroku on steroids, I think.
But Moroku has more, believe it or not, more morals than Ataru.
Somehow, yes.
And then you have the female. There's a girl who is the priestess, just like Kikyo. And she looks just like Kikyo.
Yes.
And all the guys want her.
Right. And what was funny, they had this one scene where Ataru was cursed or something, and she had to lift it, which, like you said, and you watch a shout out. So then they get to a point where, usually when they're doing their releasing the spirits and stuff and getting rid of the Balak and stuff, they had to perform some type of ritual or a chant or something. And at first, you're hearing her say the stuff, and you're thinking it's stuff in Japanese. They left it in Japanese and not English.
Her name is Sakura.
Sakura, yes. And you start paying attention. You're like, wait a minute, rewind. I'm actually hearing something about, like, sushi or something, and rewind it. And all of a sudden, you're going chanting, wonton, egg roll, fuyana, noodle, sushi, wonton, wa, bing, bang. Like, what the heck are you doing? It's all menu food. We're in a Japanese restaurant. Tempura, egg fuyang. Like, what the heck?
And she's also the school nurse, so she's an adult, in case you're wondering.
Yes.
She's the only adult that's amidst these crazy ones.
Yes.
And yeah, she's Kikyo. It's obvious.
Yeah.
She's even the Shinto priestess. And then you have Cherry, who's a wandering Buddhist monk, and all he does throughout the entire series, in season 1, I should say, is yell doom for Ataru.
Yeah, because he was born on the unluckiest day of the unluckiest month, the unluckiest year, ending in 13, and he was born with an ugly face.
Then you have Shitaro Mendo, who's the heir to the Mendo conglomerate. He's wealthy as Batman.
Yeah.
His family has his own private army. He has a crazy sister.
Oh,
and
gosh.
she is, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, why?
He is Sesshomaru.
Yeah.
With dark hair. Dark, short hair. But in the beginning, he's Sesshomaru. When he first appears,
Yeah.
that is Sesshomaru, the personality and everything. But later on, he becomes the second dumbass in here.
Yeah, and like
he's
another
just as bad
Moroku.
as Ataru, and Sesshomaru just goes out the door.
Yeah.
But all the girls want him, of course, because he's wealthy and he's handsome. but he's almost as big a lech as Moroku.
Yes, and it kind of looks like
he's got class and morals and high
and when the
standing.
girls aren't looking, their eyes are covered, they don't see him. He is afraid of things. He cries and stuff. And Sean thought, oh, once they see him crying, they're gonna not want him. Oh, we still love you. He's just sensitive. And it's like, you girls want anybody at this point. Anyone on Ataru is more attractive to you. Even the dang stupid tiger.
So we gotta mention Shinobu, because she was the girl that Ataru was trying to get with in the beginning, until Lum showed up and ruined that.
Yeah.
She finally had agreed to go to meet him to go on a date, and he was excited. And Lum came along and ruined the whole thing.
Yeah.
And she told him, I don't want you.
Yeah, because she did.
And so all throughout here, when he's trying to get all the other women, he's trying to get her too.
Yeah, it's like, good grief.
And then the last one we're going to mention is Renosuke Fujinami, who's called Ryu in the anime, and she's being raised as a boy.
Yeah.
And so when she first appears in one of the latter episodes, you think she's a boy.
Yeah.
And then later on, during that episode, you find out she's a girl.
Right.
And before then, the guys didn't pay attention to her. They weren't interested. The minute they found out she was a girl, they all started chasing after her.
Yeah. And I was like, dang it. And then the girls, too, at the school. Because they don't believe she's a girl. And if they do believe it, they still want her. It's like, oh, gosh, you're going to lose either way.
And she has boobs, but she takes them and wraps them down with medical bandages underneath her clothes.
Yes.
Her dad is a lunatic. He owns a ramen place, and he wanted her to be a boy, so he reared her as a boy. And then she tells him, but I want to be a girl. I want to dress like a girl. I want to put up makeup. I want to be pretty. And he's upset. No. So anytime a plot comes up where she's supposed to be girly or go on a date or anything, the dad ruins it all.
Yeah. And her biggest dream, her biggest goal is to wear the school uniform with the skirt. The girl's skirt uniform, the dress. She wants to wear an actual bra, not bandages. Learn how lipstick works and everything. It's absolutely hilarious. She's like, if Kashima really wanted to be super feminine.
Yes, and you can see this being an inspiration for Kashima when you watch it. I mean, it was.
You're right.
It came long before her. But this is just one of the best anime ever made. Rumiko Takahashi has a gift for writing and having these adaptations become anime that are just outstanding. The 3 we've seen so far, every single one we love.
Yes.
So right now it's 3 for 3, and that's a heck of a track record.
Right.
Because sometimes they have ones that don't do too well, but she just knows what to do.
And
now want to say quickly, she's a pervert. She absolutely
is. Yeah.
And you find out in here just how big of a perv she is.
So
she and Horikoshi should be buddies.
Right. And it's like, if you want to complain, oh, why is this in here? Well, a woman did it, so you can't say it's something about a guy and having all this. And she gives the fan service for the girls and for the guys. So you can't say anything this time.
Absolutely, you can't. So the
dang, this is bonkers!
Except for Ataru, I'm sorry. All the characters, you end up liking them. Ataru just leaves a bad taste in your mouth on purpose. And every time you get to where you just wish he would go away, Rumiko throws in a little something nice he'll do, and you go, oh, he's not so bad. And then immediately after, he ruins it, and you're like, oh, go away again. And she does it on purpose. She doesn't want you to feel sorry for him or pity him or even like him. He is the screw up of this show.
Yes. Oh my God.
And it's just beautifully written. And again, we're going to talk a little bit about that final episode for season 1, because I've never ever seen anything like that in any anime or Western show in my entire life. Every fan service you could do was there. Every radar, action, picture, stance, pose, and all of it happens, including furries, everything.
The tentacles, all that.
Oh my gosh, it's just crazy. So in this episode, they decide to have the women wrestle.
For it's like a pageant thing, like the last round of a pageant for the school. Yeah.
Right. And they don't tell them that, they said you're going to get 150,000 yen, but it ends up being fish.
Yeah.
And they don't tell them the truth. So the girls enter, they have on bikinis and one-piece swimsuits. They're all dressed sexy to fight, and they told them to do it. So you got these judges And every time the fan service comes up and they do something that's really just so, the radar would go to 10 in red and just start firing sirens everywhere. They start racking up the points and giving them all types of points. And also included in here is Sakura. She ends up in here as well, the priestess.
Yes.
And it's like, what are you doing here?
Yes. Oh my god.
But yeah, she ends up in there too. And it's just one of the wildest episodes
ever
you will ever see. And then when it ends hilariously, but all you can think about is all the crap you saw for 20 minutes, and then they never stop.
Right, and then the animals they throw in there, like, oh, they gotta wrestle some animals. The animals are more perverted than the humans.
And they got 2 legs.
Yeah, they have chains and eye patches up like there's some Yakuza animals, and once they get too close to the women, they start getting on them, and it's like, what the heck are they doing? And then they had to electrocute them and get them off of them, and it just started being worse and worse. Like, how bonkers is this show?
Yes, and the umpire he's not a judge. Yeah, the umpire is Ataru of all people.
Yeah.
And it's the one episode of 2 that he doesn't do anything lecherous.
No, and he said, you did this? Oh no, that's from the school. The school had this sponsor and that sponsor and that sponsor. He never touched any of them or anything. He just kept announcing he enjoyed the show. I'm like, you can't blame him this time.
It's crazy. It's wild. It's fun. It's everything you would want in a crazy anime. It's like Psyche K is number 1, and now Yatsura is number 2.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. If you've never seen it, watch it. We really want to see
SOFHAB
as well. 2022 version. I can't imagine how 81 is, because if they had this stuff in 81 that they're putting here in 2022, no wonder you've never heard of it.
Right.
No wonder no one has put it on streaming services to watching things, because it's just like, this should be for adults only.
Right. Oh gosh, especially one of the things where they kept looking like they were seeing something for adults. It was like, stop!
There should be no kids watching this anime. We're going to tell you that right now.
Oh, Lord.
No children should be watching this. Even with the parents, they shouldn't be watching it, because the parents are going to get embarrassed and turn it off.
Yep.
This is just crazy.
Yes.
So, if you've read Urusei Yatsura, or watched the 1981 original version or the 2022 version, please let us know in the comments below. And if you've seen the 2022, let us know how you think it compares if you've seen both.
Right.
If you haven't seen it, it's on Anime Network. I think it may also be on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
And
I think so.
we are covering season 1. Season 2 has finally released in January, so you might be able to watch them both one after the other. Unlike us, we had to wait.
Right.
And in Japan, the series was released on 2 DVD and Blu-ray box sets in 2023. And here, Sentai Filmworks is releasing the first season on Blu-ray as seasons 1 and 2, representing the first 2 cores instead of the first season that's usually used.
Yeah.
On March 19th of 2024.
Right.
So by the time you're hearing this, you'll have time to watch them both and decide if it's something you want to buy when it comes out in March. Because, as you know, this is finishing off February, Valentine's month.
Yes, and this is one of the most ridiculous romances you'll ever see in your life.
Darling.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates. We can his favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for joining us and sharing our videos. If this entertained you and you loved it, please share it and give it a like as well. And we want to give a shout out to Sylvian14.
Yes.
Because she sent us a video that has a short.
I think it's like an OVA or a short film.
And all of these characters from all of these anime are inspired by this little short.
Right.
And hopefully we'll find it and put the link in the description for you so you can check it out yourself.
Right.
Thank you so much for sending that to us. It was so interesting, absolutely interesting. And not only can you see the Inuyasha influence, but also the Yatsura influence as well.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much for watching Mask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.